As the last couple of weeks of 2022 wind to a close, there are events around the world that are starting to accelerate, primarily in the financial markets. They're trying to keep it hush hush. They're trying to put as nice of a spin on it as they can, but when you look at the information critically and you subtract the emotion, it's very clear that 2023 is not going to be a good year. We're going to cover that in detail in this video, but I always want to be diligent and say thank you to everyone who continues to join us here every day and engage in the conversation, especially those of you who have continued to sign up over at the Patreon channel, where it's only $1 per month, even less than that if you sign up for an entire year. And full disclosure, we just dropped a brand new Patreon video only a couple hours ago. And warning, it is as advertised. If it were on Netflix or Hulu or anywhere else, it would be rated TVMA. So just be warned. Over there, partnering with Vimeo, we can take the gloves off and we can talk about things in a real world environment. Now, on that same note, we would love to have you over at Patreon. I would like to give a huge shout out, a huge gloves off shout out to Justice Knight and Lisa Haven, because they have done something incredibly brave. They have created a brand new website and YouTube channel together called We're Forked Up. WE''RE space FORKED space UP. We're Forked Up. And they go out to restaurants and they just have a meal, have conversation, and have drinks, and whatever comes out of their mouth, comes out of their mouth in a completely uncensored way. Incredibly brave thing to do. And it's really refreshing to see, because so many of us try everything we know how to do to keep from avoiding and offending certain sectors of our audience. And it's almost an impossible task. Well, they don't even care. They absolutely don't even care. They just go for it. They have 2 or 3 or 4 drinks, and I know a lot of you would not want, I include myself in that group, would not want, after 3 or 4 drinks, anybody recording anything I say, for sure. But it's incredibly brave. This is the website, We're Forked Up. They have a huge gallery here of all the different food that they review. Justice Knight, I don't think that's his real God-given name. I think that's a name he uses for YouTube. He's a chef. But you can go here, sign up, and look at all this. They got 2 or 3 videos up. It's really a neat thing to see. People just acting like normal people and just out and enjoying themselves and relaxing. So I just wanted to give them huge shout out. I've been watching Lisa Haven for a really long time. Justice Knight came along later. Restricted Republic, I believe, is their main channel. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that. But check this out. We're Forked Up. You will absolutely love it. It's fantastic. But over here, once again, go to the Florida Maquis Communities tab, and you'll find the direct link to the Patreon if you want to check out the brand new video. But this is not such good news, guys. Amazon layoffs now expected to mount to 20,000, including top managers. Just a week ago, it was only 10,000. And when a guy like Jeff Bezos says, quote, hold on to your money, Jeff Bezos just issued a financial warning saying you might want to rethink buying a new automobile, refrigerator, or whatever. When he says that, it's probably time to listen. And this is even a bigger one. Parents are buying fewer baby clothes. Now, how do you get out of buying baby clothes? People that hadn't normally turned to resale shops are turning to resale shops. And when you take that, you set that aside. Okay, things aren't looking good financially. A Democrat leftist president just invoked a law that forced labor unions to accept a contract set forth by the U.S. Congress. Now, this would have been normal for a Republican to do. It would have been expected for a Republican to do. But Joe Biden, even the unions are saying, he let us down, he let us down. And the week before that, he released the sanctions on Venezuela and allowed Chevron to go down there and start standing up wells with the understanding that all oil pumped comes directly to the United States, nowhere else. Now put all that together. The U.S. government has had sanctions on Venezuela going all the way back to the Obama administration. It started in like 2014. It was the last 2 years of Obama. He started laying these heavy sanctions on Maduro, and that's when everything fell apart down there. And now it's 2022, so we're 8 years later. You see, something is amiss. And I've been doing some reading and looking into history. And I found some of these old cartoons about prohibition. And a lot of people think they understand why prohibition happened. But there's really a different reason. It was economic. A lot of people thought it was moral, that, drinking is bad and being an alcoholic is bad. Yes, that was part of it. But this particular cartoon, we make poor people. We cause poverty and crime. We are against progress. We fill penitentiaries and asylums. And all the way in the back, there's a guy, it's kind of hard to see. We waste grain. We rob women and children. You see, it's really odd to see. And here comes the prohibition forces. This is another cartoon. Temperance Dreadnought, firing the anti-saloon fight gun. And the round is called the Saloon Closer. And how it was pirates that were, making huge amounts of money on bootlegging wine, whiskey, and beer. And, the whole Dukes of Hazzard kind of thing. They were basically modern day pirates. They were, in fact, if I remember right, Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard, weren't they shine runners? But here's where things really get weird. Really going off the track. Pardon me. Donald Trump's post about, if XYZ thing happens, then shouldn't we terminate all rules, regulations, articles, even those found in the Constitution? This is 2 years, we're now going on 3 years later, and he's still going on and on about what happened in 2020, and fraud and all this kind of stuff, to the point now that because of what they found on Twitter, and this is all from what they found on Twitter, that would be basis for what's the term he uses? Allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution. Because of what was found on Twitter? That seems a bit of a stretch. But there's a really weird thing that I still haven't got any good answers on. Because when everything fell apart back then, like it's getting ready to fall apart now, our great-grandparent, well, depending on how old you are, I guess, the greatest generation, we'll call them, the World War II generation, turned to socialism in a way that would probably embarrass Chavez. I mean, they literally put price controls. How many channels? Show of hands. How many of you have ever seen a channel out there, survivalist, prepper, channel, end of the world channel, that talks about raising chickens as a way of providing yourself food? This is what is this? United States Department of Agriculture, Washington, D.C., from 1918. 2 hens in the backyard for each person in the house. We'll keep a family and fresh egg. Uncle Sam expects you to keep hens and raise chickens. Why do I think that if this came out now, those who thought that raising chickens was a good idea would stop doing it because the government said to do it? Even though they independently came to it on their own, because the government then said, well, this is really a good idea, that they would stop. I think it's even better with this. And you can look these up. Accepting no rationed goods without giving up ration stamps. No black markets. Seriously, this was the greatest generation, the generation that won World War II. They were against hyper profits. They were against anybody making more than a certain amount or making anything on rationed goods. Pay no more than, you ready for this? Legal prices. Pay no more than legal prices. I know I've shown this a million times. I'm going to show it again. This was their solution. If it was their solution, and that's what got them out of it, if we don't apply that solution, what do you think will happen to us if we try to apply capitalism? Over at the Patreon video, we show what a lot of capitalists love to run out. They say capitalism is moral because it's based on the supposition that two people are willingly and voluntarily entering into an agreement together. And that's what makes it not profitable, moral. So any two people who get together and want to do ABC thing where they think they can make money at it makes it moral. I'm sure a lot of people can probably put together a lot of things out there where they can get together and they can make money on something that it ain't moral, for sure. But you got to keep your eyes open on this, guys, because this is going to be a big deal. When you have people like Jeff Bezos saying 20,000 jobs gone, don't buy things. Probably the capitalist of all capitalists tells Americans, tells everyone out there, don't buy big things from me. Don't buy things from me that I make a bunch of profit on. Because it could cost you everything. It could cost you. They're seeing people, so many people, out of work that it's going to create this massive black market. There's going to be no jobs to be had. It's not even going to be about downgrading. It's not even about, well, I had this really great job, but now I've got to take this job in fast food, or I've got to take this job waiting tables or driving Uber. Those aren't even going to be available. Even Uber and Lyft are doing layoffs. Everybody's doing layoffs. And funny story, Lisa Haven, I think it was her last video or the video before that at Restricted Republic, talked about the same thing, about all these huge companies that plan for the next year to lay off tens of thousands of people. And everybody's just kind of going about their business like, oh, well, yeah, such is life. Not realizing and blowing up credit cards. And that's on this article here. Parents are buying fewer baby clothes, sign of deep financial distress. People are using credit cards to buy groceries. Let's see here. Where does it? Huge indicator of financial strain. Total picture. Families just trading down to less expensive. Pullback in general. Turning to resale. Families, quote, families are relying heavily on credit cards to pay their rent, food, and gas bills and everything else. Household wealth is down while cost of food has surged. If they didn't plan for it earlier, parents are shopping at resale and taking hand-me-downs from family and friends. I mean, this is no joke. I mean, people think, well, why do you say breaking news, breaking news? If it's the 4th, we've got 27 days to the end of the year, and that ain't very long. So I'll leave it there, but once again, join us over at Patreon. We get more into this. Check out We're Forked Up. It's funny. I'm sorry. It's funny. It's refreshing. It's really great to see both of these people just cutting loose and just being human beings and just relaxing and enjoying themselves. It is so great to see, especially from YouTubers, because it's such a stressful thing to do, to try to create just so perfect content all the time where you don't misspeak or you don't mispronounce something or you don't misquote something. And to just see them turn the camera on and just go, especially while they're drinking. That's the funniest part, to just see, who they really are with the quote unquote, with the gloves off. with the masks off. I think it's fantastic. So, Justice, Lisa, well done. Well done. You have a huge fan. I've already signed up over at the website. I would encourage everybody else to, so that you can keep up with them. Good stuff. God bless. Like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.